Hello, everybody. It's the coach. This is Madden 20 on EA Sports. On deck, we've got what should be a great matchup between the Detroit Lions and the New England Patriots. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you. EA Sports coverage of the National Football League brings us to Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Mass. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Detroit Lions and the New England Patriots. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Godden. And, Charles, we look at this Patriots team entering play. They can't be any better as we hit the halfway mark. A perfect 7-0 on the year.
And when we looked at this team in August and we looked at the schedule, we thought they had the potential to get off to a hot start. But I don't think either of us expected 7-0.
Meanwhile, for the Lions here, they were losers their last time out. They're going to try to get back in the win column, but obviously they're going to have to do that in a hostile environment.
And sometimes it actually works to your advantage. Now you've got to band together your team, the us against the world mentality. Let's see if they can use it and get a victory.
The first 2 months of the regular season down. What will the final two bring us as we're off in Week 9? This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll take it a yard or so past the 20, call it the 21-yard line. So here are the Lions now coming out for their opening drive. Leading the charge at quarterback, the former Georgia Bulldog, Matthew Stafford.
And you've got to think that they've got to be feeling pretty fresh. You know, coming off of the open week, didn't have to play, right? Gives them a chance to rest up a little bit, heal some of those aches and pains, and excited about playing again. That really rekindles things a little bit. I want to see how they come out and establish themselves here early.
And that bye week coming right where they want it in the middle of the schedule.
Get a 20! Get in the weight room! Get in the weight room! Look at
The first carry now. This is Johnson. And that is the kind of tackling they want to see all game as he'll lose yardage to start things out. It's a loss of a yard there, and it's second down. We were just talking about him pregame. 3 tackles for a loss. Last week you thought he looked so explosive on film. Starting off good there. Another one in the first quarter.
He's every bit of what you described. And I don't want to make it too simplistic, but right now for him, it's see ball, get ball. And that's what he's doing really, really well, and he's doing it in the offense's backfield.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Stafford going to give this one off to Johnson. And he will lose yardage on the play, back at his own 19-yard line. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up third down. It's probably a pretty good sign here on the opening drive if your guys from the secondary are coming up and spilling things in the backfield.
How about the adrenaline and aggressiveness that led his eyes to the backfield to run up there and make that tackle, setting a tone early for his defense.
So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now 3rd and long. And he'll be stopped here well short of the first down at the 24-yard line. It'll be a gain of 5, and the punt team will now come out on 4th down.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Here comes the Lions punter now. He'll kick it away after a 3-and-out on the opening drive of the game. Fielded just inside the 20. Good blocking there, nearly sprung him. As it is, it'll go as a 19-yard return. And the Patriots take over. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Let's go, D.
They'll run for the first time with Sony Michel. And a 6-yard gain gets him right around the 43.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20. Because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored gives yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
And let's give you a look here at the New England offense.
And the schedule makers have given them a little break right here. Back-to-back home games, and they won last week. So they're trying to make it 2 in a row before they hit the road next week. They have to take advantage of this break in the schedule.
Stidham, 3rd down from the gun. Forced out to his left. He can run for it, and he will. Give him 7 on the tuck and run, and it'll get him a new set of downs.
I'm not sure he falls under the category of mobile quarterback, but he's athletic enough that if you don't keep your rush lanes intact, he finds a way to hurt you.
As coaches like to say, I wouldn't call him a burner, but enough there in the tank.
18 Gator. 53, Mike, 53. Coming to you, coming to you. Let's go.
On 1st down, Stidham flushed out right. Almost able to intercept it. That's one he would have liked to have held on to on this first drive. Instead, 2nd down. Time for a look at our starters here on defense. This unit against the pass, hoping to get better for sure. Number 25 in the NFL right now.
Take those rankings, throw them right out the window, because this is what you prepare for. This is what you practice for. This is what you think about. The ultimate test, taking on the #1 overall offense in the league.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Now Michel. That goes as a gain of 11 and a Patriot 1st down. We should mention, to go along with a great game he had last week, he was rightfully named AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
And he shares that with his offensive line, the tight end, his fullback. He's looking for more and more of that in this game.
Let's go. 18 Gator. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Let's go.
They'll run it here. This is James White. He's brought down at the 34. Call it a gain of 4. Tough running there. That's a hard-earned 4 yards.
Yeah, those are the unsung kind of runs. They don't fill up the stat sheet, but they do set you up in good position on 2nd down.
Here's Stidham dancing to his left. And that's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact, no call, and it's 3rd down.
The positioning here is key. As a defensive back, you're taught 99% of the time, make a play on the football. But in this case, making a play on the man was all the difference. That's what forced the incompletion.
Here's Stidham to throw. Eluding the pressure right. And he's going to have the hook up to Izzo. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 10-yard line.
Sometimes it's designed, and sometimes you just have to know when to leave the pocket and move and make something happen. And on that play, he was able to get on the run and was still accurate throwing the football.
Ready up. 53. 53. Mike. I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you.
Off the draw, here's Michel. And he'll take this one inside the 10, down to the 8. Give him 3 on 1st down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7. He's hit pay dirt a lot this year, but not that time.
Yeah, I'm tracking right there with you. You're exactly right. He's found the end zone plenty of times. No way I can...
And he's in. Touchdown, Patriots. James White, his 6th touchdown of the season, as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. One of the keys to their long winning streak has been scoring first. An ideal drive right there, getting the first 6 points of the ball game.
Do you go back to our meeting with the offensive coordinator? Remember what he told us?
Absolutely.
With some teams, I script to probe in the early part of the game. Other teams, I script to attack. They've been in attack mode for these ball games and continue that in this one.
Extra point splits the uprights, and it's now a 7-0 game. So that one a pretty time-consuming 10-play drive. And the capper that put it in the end zone, a run of 8 yards. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll get it up just past the 20, and his guys will go to work at the 21-yard line. And Detroit getting set to go now. And on the first drive, 3 and out. And I know that these are professional athletes, but I would imagine sometimes you get the nerves at the beginning of a game still, don't you?
Those don't ever go away. And typically what I've heard from guys and what I remember from playing, if you don't have nerves at the start of a game, it's not going to be a great day for you. You're not really ready to play. So finding a way to harness those nerves and not let them affect you in a negative way, that's what all the guys are looking for.
And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. He'll get a dozen there, and the Lions have a first down.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Stafford now to throw. The intended target, T.J. Hawkinson, but it'll be 2nd down. And now the offense for Detroit.
And this team is coming in off of their open week, and to me, a pretty good time to have it, too, because it's pretty much right in the middle of the season. So I would think that they'll be pretty well rested and ready to go for the second half of the season. But even more importantly, they got a little bit of a mental break as well. That's going to help, too.
On 2nd down now, it's Johnson. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. 11 yards there and a Lion first down.
I think they like this drive a little bit better there, partner. Running game helping out, picking up some of the slack. Because remember the last drive, they went 3 and out.
Now on the heels of that run by Johnson, here's another 1st and 10. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he'll only get a yard, maybe 2, up to the 46. Defensively, here are the starters for New England. They were terrific last week against Buffalo in that victory.
And what I saw on film was nearly an unstoppable pass rush. They had 5 sacks last week, plenty of hurries. So now do you just max protect on offense, keep everyone in and run, 1 or 2 receiver routes to make sure your quarterback stays up? We'll soon find out.
Throwing on 2nd and 8. Stafford completing it here to Marvin Jones. And they'll get to him after a gain of 7 to the 47.
Set, 250. Mike 51. Hey, watch the slant.
Stafford looking to throw on 3rd and 1. Open man is Galladay, complete.
Play to win. Let go.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
Set. 180. 52 right here. 52. Yeah.
On 1st and 10, Stafford. Open man, he's got him, the tight end, Hawkinson. A gain of 6 there on 1st. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he was unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
To throw again on 2nd down. Stafford. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. You know darn well both of these teams reviewed the film and saw that this defense had 5 sacks last week. They got to keep their QB upright.
And they're going to try their best to do exactly that. But they're facing a team where getting to the quarterback is a mindset. It's a mantra for them. And they play a game within the game. And you know what it is? Let's race to the quarterback and see who gets there first.
After the sack, Stafford and the Lions come up on a 3rd and long situation. Now it's Stafford. And that is incomplete.
They went with the dime look that time on defense, just flooded the field with defensive backs, blanketed everyone, took away all the passing angles. thus the incompletion.
Here comes the Lions punter now, as he'll punt it away for the second time. And this punt sails over the sideline, and the spot, it looks to be right at the 25-yard line. Offense marching back onto the field, and our focus shifts here to Sony Michel. Man, those numbers from last week, what do you call a game like that? Monumental? A career game?
Yeah, every one of those adjectives you can pull up. Monumental, mammoth, massive. But you also know that he wants another one just like it in this game. He doesn't plan on slowing down.
Man, if he duplicates that, that would be history. The run there on first down, going to get him 5 up to the 30. Now, after the running play, we've got a man down on the field. We'll get a report when we return to Foxborough. Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5. On second down, they'll run with White. And he cuts right sideline into the Red Sea parts, and there he goes. And all the way in. Touchdown, New England. James White with his 2nd touchdown of the game, number 7 on the year. And the Patriots are able to strike quickly for 6. And a pair of rushing touchdowns now for him in the first quarter.
And I'm liking what I'm seeing from his big guys up front because they're winning the leverage game. How many times we talk about low man wins, right? Move the defensive front aside, create those gaps and holes. He's found his way through them for 2 touchdowns.
And after both of those touchdowns, he went right up to that O-line and hit each of them on the helmet. He recognized it.
That's a smart man. You know what else he should do? If this continues, take them all to dinner.
Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. Fielded about a yard deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. Now Stafford. Catch is made by Hockenson, the tight end. 19 yards there on the catch and run.
We got this.
His position, and he's listed as a tight end, but he certainly doesn't run like one, and that's what we're seeing more and more coming into the league. Those guys who can run, make plays after the catch, and gain that additional yardage.
And using that speed there to turn it into a pretty nice little gain.
Ready? Get us 20! I got you, boy. I got you, boy.
On first down, Stafford here. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Lawrence Guy, the defensive tackle, getting in there for a loss of 5.
Well, someone's been up to the task so far in this game. They are already up a couple of scores, Brandon, and guess what? I think they're just going to pin their ears back now and get upfield and get after the quarterback.
Been such an impressive first half to get that lead. Coming up now on a 2nd and 15 following that sack.
Here we go again.
Faking the give to Johnson. Now it's Stafford. And that's complete to Jesse James. 15 yards for the Lions there on a first down.
There are so many things to watch for when you play defense. And reading your keys, you always hear about that, and having your eyes in the right place. Sometimes your eyes can fool you. How about that play action there? And it sprang the big guy, didn't it?
Able to dump it over the top to him. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat? And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. Running the jet sweep with Jones. 2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it.
But not a big gain with that play, but what they're doing is they're spreading the defense out, probing a little bit, and what they're hoping probably is that later in the game, they can create a matchup that they can exploit for big yardage later.
Got his man complete over the middle. That's Simmons. And the tackle going to be made at the 41 as they stop him a few yards short of the first.
One of the money routes for any offense, the drag route. So tough to defend because the receiver can stop at any point and make himself available to the quarterback and get a completion. But I love the communication we saw there. All the defenders pointing out the receiver, where he was going, and then they're able to rally to the ball after the catch and stop him short of a first down.
Feeling like they're not quite in field goal range yet, they're going to go for it on 4th. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off by Joe Williams. There he goes left side. And he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Patriot defense has a touchdown. Now remember, this is the #1 defense in the National Football League. There's a good example of why.
Shows that they set an aggressive tone, not just stopping the run, not just getting after the quarterback, but if the ball's in the air, they treat it like they're the receivers, and they went after that one and took it all the way.
Now the extra point. And it is now 21-0. A heck of a play there defensively, getting the interception, navigating his way into the end zone for the touchdown. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6, and now the kick is away. This is taken at his 4. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. Back out is Matthew Stafford in the Lions offense. In second quarter, they're down big already. He's struggling as well. They've got to find something here. He's got to find something on this drive.
And sometimes you take on all that extra pressure on yourself, and maybe you have to disperse it a little bit. Lean on some other people. Lean on your teammates. Find someone who can take the pressure off and get the ball in their hands for a while.
Or this, if he doesn't, this is getting out of hand, or it could get worse. Now to Galladay on the jet sweep, and that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line.
I like the idea to mix it up from time to time because, let's face it, you can't be predictable. But the execution was a little lacking on this one, right? They might want to go back to the drawing board with that call.
The Lions on third down. They've only converted once in 4 tries. This is going to be 3rd and 13. Out of the gun, Stafford. Over the middle, complete. It's Simmons. And he's got the first down, yardage before being taken down at midfield. That one good for 24 yards. Stafford now 7 of 10 here in this first half, and he's got a 1st and 10. Now a 10th carry for Johnson. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
They try to throw on 2nd down, but this one is incomplete.
That's very well timed there defensively because it's not a bad throw, but the collision came at the exact time Keeps reaching to bring in the football. Really, really well done.
Decent offense, just better defense. I think you're right. The Lions on third down. 2 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd and 4. From the gun, here's Stafford. And he'll find Galladay. That's complete. And he's got another first down as the tackle's going to be made at the Patriots' 29-yard line. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on third down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times because he can trust you being in the right spot, and they connected there and picked up a first down.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. They go back to the ground with Johnson. Yeah, boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain. Dante Hightower on the stop.
That didn't appear to be a run blitz. He just darted in once he saw the run develop. That appeared to be a case of see ball, get ball.
Looking to throw on 2nd down. Stafford looking sideline, incomplete.
This defense has been very disruptive early on as they force another one to go awry.
Seems to be the front and the back end. Pass rush, they've been able to get home, and they're taking the ball away in coverage as well.
I love how you put it together. The front and back working in sync, only way to play good defense.
And now the 3rd down throw incomplete as well.
Sometimes it's just not your day. There's another failure right there on 3rd down.
Here's Dustin Hopkins now to try the field goal. And this will be a 45-yard attempt. And this one is right down Broadway. And the drive will wind up yielding 3. Now, that's something of a pick-me-up, and the offense certainly has struggled, but they do get the field goal before half to put 3 on the board.
Yeah, you don't want to be shut out, but let's face it, those 3 points, that's not going to solve all their problems either.
Following the made field goal for 3, Hopkins now to kick it off. This will be fielded at the 6. And a good effort on the return there. Gets him across the 30 to the 33-yard line. A look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. He's in his own 2nd quarter, already closing in on a 100-yard game.
And that's the magic number for a running back. Anytime you get to that triple digits, that's all you're looking for. But he's got a chance to really exceed that in this one.
Yeah, he does. That's been the gold standard for a long time, hasn't it, that 100-yard mark?
It really has, and that never has to shift because it's in a game. It's a 1,000-yard mark. I'm wondering, since we've gone from 12 to 14 to 16 games, maybe we need to up that a little.
They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. Now Stidham on 2nd down. And this is going to be caught. He won the fight for the football.
Let's go. Let's go.
2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best
This is caught inside the 15. And he gets this one inside the 15, just a yard or 2 shy of the 10. 33 yards that time. So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Stidham. And nearly picked off. Surprising to see a defender of his caliber let it get away, but it does get away and it's 2nd down.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him.
And he'll take it into the end zone for a Patriot touchdown. James White on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Patriots, they add on to their lead. And this is becoming quite the half he's had here.
Remember in our pregame meetings, they talked about wanting to run the football and staying with it? Well, when you're scoring this many touchdowns, there's no reason to go away from it, is there? They are off to a fantastic start. They hope it continues.
3 already for him. Extra point right down the middle. And the route is on here in this first half. So that drive spanned 5 plays. And it was capped off by a 12-yard touchdown run. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line. Here's the Detroit offense now as they head back out onto the field.
It was still more than a minute to go in the half. Time to try to mount a drive.
And I would think that they would have to. This is today's NFL. You got to push it whenever you get an opportunity. You could never have enough points with the high-powered offenses that you face. And analytics will tell you, try and score when given the opportunity.
Stafford on first down. And a quick throw here, that's complete. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion. And boy, they had high praise for this rookie receiver when we asked the coaches about him, didn't they?
They certainly did, and obviously they liked his measurables, otherwise they wouldn't have brought him onto the team. Height, weight, speed, all of that. But how about what they really said? Competitiveness. That's what they really liked about him. The way he goes after the football, competes for it, and decides when it's in the air, it's his and only his.
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. They're going draw play. Stafford to Johnson. Absolutely nobody fooled there. He's going nowhere fast as he stopped behind the line of scrimmage. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with exactly a minute to go before halftime. An extra corner comes on now for the Patriots D on 3rd down. Here's Stafford. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Now the Patriots going to use one of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 55 seconds to go until halftime. Here comes the Lions punter now as he'll come on to kick this one away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. This is fielded at the 27. Well, that looked for a second like he might take it all the way, but as it stands, it's still a massive return. And this is going to set up a 1st and goal from the 5. A chance to really cap off a big first half here as they come up on 1st and goal. Out of the gun, Stidham. He'll buy some time right. To the goal line, but it's incomplete. Philip Dorsett, the intended receiver. But it'll be 2nd and goal.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Lucky. You know that's one that he would love to have back. That should have been picked off. Threw that one into a crowd. He's just so fortunate the defender couldn't react fast enough and get his hands up.
Now it's Stidham toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
It is tough to complete passes against zone defenses. The windows that you see open, they shrink pretty rapidly. How about being able to hit a moving target against a zone before the next guy can get there?
And he is in. Touchdown, New England. James White on his way to a historic performance, 4 first-half touchdowns as his guys continue to pour it on. And that rushing touchdown, his 4th, puts him just one shy of the NFL record in a single game.
And we all know he would love to get to that record and even beyond it, but he doesn't need to in order to impress in this one, does he? What a performance. What an absolute great game that he's had here in this one.
Point after, right down the middle. And a rout is on here in this first half. The drive there only spanning 3 plays. And it's finished off with a 5-yard touchdown run. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. An incredibly short kick fielded way up there. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30. Kenny Golladay making his way back onto the field with the rest of this offense. You would have to think they're going to make it more of a priority to get him the football. You're losing here in the second quarter, and he's been really quiet.
I think all we have to do, and it's too bad we can't actually see the actual play sheet now from the coordinator, because he's looking down at that and saying, okay, do I put him in different spots? Do I try and isolate him? What routes do I run? You're exactly right. They've got to get the ball in his hands and get their offense kick-started.
He does have the 2 catches, but pretty quiet so far. To throw on 2nd and 10. Stafford. And he drops it incomplete. And their struggles continue here. So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. This time they stay on the ground, and they will bottle him up behind the line, and now will they use a timeout? Now the Patriots will use the second of their timeouts, as they'll stop it with 13 seconds to play in half number 1. Here comes the Lions punter now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. Pulled in at the 24. "21 yards. Well done on the return. And there'll be time for maybe one final play before halftime. The Pats at the line, ready to go. And from this spot in the field with the clock where it's at, you think we're just going to see a knee and that's it?
And I think in this situation, that's the proper play. But we do know there's some risk takers out there that may want to take one more shot before the clock runs out.
So we've reached halftime here in what is quickly turning into quite a rout, as we'll get you down the coast to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, all right, Brandon, thank you very much. Hi again, everyone. Let's get you caught up with what's going on around the NFL as we are officially into the second half of the season. We'll begin our tour up at First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, and it's the Browns who are out on top. Baker Mayfield with a couple of touchdown passes. We'll stay in the AFC South as we head one state over to check on the Indianapolis Colts at home at Lucas Oil Stadium. And this one going the visitors' way as the Texans have the lead in that one. Kiki Cutie, 2 touchdown catches on the afternoon. Finally, let's get to the country music capital of the world and see what's happening with the Titans at home in Nashville. And they were winners in their ball game over the visiting Buffalo Bills. A 10-point victory in the end. 24-14, the final. Meanwhile, our game has been a boat race. Very one-sided to this point. And for the call of the second half, let's get it back to our commentating team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. So here we go for half number 2. The Patriots with the lead, and they will be getting the football. This is taken at his 4. Gets through, and now an opening. Accelerating, and off he goes. And all the way in. Touchdown, New England. Call that a 96-yard house call on the kick return as his guys continue to put this one out of reach.
And talk about taking words and bringing them to life. At halftime, I will guarantee you in their locker room, they talked about pressing the kicking game because you can get an advantage if you do it right, and they just did.
Now they'll line up to kick the extra point. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. A spectacular return of 96 yards. Great blocking in front of him on special teams as well as he takes it to the end zone. So let's try this again. After the kick return TD, here's yet another kickoff.
Good work, boys. Let's go. Let's go.
So we get a look at the Lions offense as they get ready for their first possession of the second half. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Now a fake on the give here as they try the run-pass option. This thrown quickly out to Jones. And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. Big yardage after the catch. That one winds up going for 36.
I know we love our jobs, and pretty much any play we see, we're pretty, excited about. But big plays, let's face it, that's what we absolutely live for. How about that one?
That was great. And what our camera missed was the fist pump from the sideline after that catch. They're fired out. That's a big gain. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
Check. 180. Check tight end. Check tight. Check tight.
On second and 11 now. Stafford out to the left there and complete to the tight end Hockenson. And he's got another first down as the tackle's going to be made at the Patriots' 29-yard line.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. And that's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
Now here's a pass on first down that's knocked away and incomplete.
When you see passes knocked down by those guys I call the frustrated fullbacks, the linebackers, you know that in their zone coverage, they were able to drop, see the ball thrown, and react to it very quickly.
Here's second and 10 now from the 29.
You don't want none. Wait, hot.
To throw again. Stafford. James has got it. Complete. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down.
And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
Now they'll try to convert on 3rd and 6 after the 4-yard completion. They'll fake it. Now Stafford. He'll get this one to Galladay. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. It's a gain of 14 and a first down for Detroit.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
Stafford now, 5 straight completions here in this second half. 1st and 10. Now Johnson. And he'll get this one down to about the 10-yard line. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be second down.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. Here's Johnson. He's been busy this afternoon. Only about a yard there as he takes it from the 9 to the 8. A minimal gain there on the 8th play of the drive.
Well, they certainly haven't been able to get him going and establish the run, so I think it's time to abandon that plan and start chucking it all over the park. And you know who's excited about that? The defensive front. They got a chance to pin their ears back and get after him now.
This will be the 8th play of the drive. It's 3rd and 7. A shotgun snap for Stafford. To the end zone, but it's incomplete. Another good drive, Charles, but it looks like another that might end in a field goal try.
They've made some nice plays. They've given themselves opportunities, but as you noted, another field goal attempt coming up. And that's not how they want to end drives. They've got to figure out what's the final touch that they need to push it across the goal line.
Yeah, still yet to find the end zone. So out comes a field goal team now for the 2nd time here today. This from 25 yards out. And Hopkins' kick is good. And they'll get back 3, but this remains a large deficit. I'm kind of surprised by that they kicked the field goal. I guess you get some points, but this deficit 3rd quarter, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. When you're down that much, kicking a field goal, does it feel a little bit maybe waving the white flag and just want to get out of here? Yeah, I think you got to go ahead and try and get some bigger points on the board.
Following the made field goal for 3, Hopkins now to kick it off. This is fielded at the goal line. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32-yard line.
Here we go.
So here are the Patriots to take over. They've got the lead right now, and remember, they are riding that very impressive 7-game winning streak, trying to push it to 8. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10.
Let's get the ball.
This drive starts out on the ground with Michel. And he'll be tackled just past the 35 at the 36. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on 1st down. After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5.
Don't let him breathe. Play that tight deep. Don't let him.
2nd down, Stidham to throw. Flush to his right. Now he's going to let it go deep right sideline. And he almost intercepted it. They haven't picked a ball off yet. That probably should have been their first. And it's 3rd down now.
Stop your whining.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. Being chased out left. And he's going to have the hook up to Izzo. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. An excellent pickup of 34 yards.
Just more of the same there, partner. Guys have just been running free in the secondary this entire game. No pass rush, a lot of passes completed. Been an easy day for them.
So now then, the big play has him all the way inside the 30 now, 1st and 10. On the ground is Michel. And he went backwards. He'll be down at the 30. That's going to go as a loss of 1 on 1st down.
Set, ready? 18 Gator. Let's go.
Play action. It's Stidham sliding out of the pocket. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there, trying to take a shot, but it's 3rd down. An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. On 3rd down, Stidham escaping the pressure right. He may try and run for this. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 10-yard line.
That's it, baby. We're going to run.
These type of plays are backbreakers for a defense. They thought they had him hemmed in, thought they were going to get him on the ground with the pass rush, but were unable to do so. He gets away, picks up a big 1st down, and sets up 1st and goal inside the 10.
The 3 red zone trips, 3 touchdowns so far. They'll look for a 4th on 2nd and goal. 1st down, here's White. And a short pickup there down to about the 9. It's a gain of a yard, and it'll set up 2nd and goal. Defensively, pretty good start there with their backs against the wall.
That's a win for the stop troops right there. And if I'm them, I get a little bolder now. They won the first battle. Keep coming at.
And he's in. Touchdown, Patriots. A 9-yard touchdown run as his guys continue to pour it on.
Partner, this running back's having a heck of a day on the ground. He just keeps punching it in and rushing for touchdown after touchdown.
No going for two. They'll kick the point after. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. So that drive in total 8 plays and a 9-yard run on the end of it. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll take this across the 25, couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. And Detroit getting set to go now. They have been struggling. I would imagine at halftime they went through some possible changes. Well, those changes aren't working, so now where do you go?
I think that now it's much more in their head. And what I mean by that is just what you said. You've gone over the changes. I bet they were pretty clinical at the half, not too emotional. They might need to go to the emotional side because you've got to find something, some spark somewhere. And so far, just being calm hasn't exactly worked.
They need any spark at this point.
But plain and simple, that's the second time today that he's dropped a pass.
And that one, I think, maybe even a little easier than the earlier one that he dropped. Surprising.
Was this game announced as a night game prior to, and maybe his rhythm is just off? He's got thrown off. He's got to wake up, enjoy the sunshine, and go play.
And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. It's a loss of 2, now third down.
If you're a selfish player and you're throwing the ball, you're cool with the completion. Maybe not so cool with the yardage loss, though, huh?
Yeah, you went backwards on the yardage. Hey, it kind of works like a sack for the defense there.
Yeah, it's a really big play for them, right? Able to figure it out, sniff it out, and finish it off.
Going down the middle, and it's complete. And they work this well upfield across the 45. A good pickup there, a 22.
You know I'm going to lean towards the defender, right? You know I'm going to do that.
I know.
That's a tough situation for him as I see it. But the truth of the matter is, that ball was not streaking towards him. Had a little arc on it. He's got to find a way to get his head around and make a play on the football.
Stafford now, a perfect 8 for 8 to start the second half. Not bad. 1st and 10. Johnson. And down he goes at the 49, a 3-yard pickup.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
Watch the screen.
They go to Johnson again. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. That's going to go down as a loss of 5, and it brings up third down.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on third down. Here's Stafford. And this is going to be incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on third down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Third down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
Here comes the Lions punter now, as he's on for the 5th time here today. His first punt, 45 yards. This looks good as well. And this is going to hit the goal line and continue on into the end zone for a touchback. New England with a first down as they begin the drive. Now with just 1 second showing on the play clock, we're going to get a timeout. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this third quarter. The Pats at the line, ready to go. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? I mean, they score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, you feel like you can take the spirit away from another team, that their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
Yeah, still third quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they?
Keeping it on the ground on first, Michelle. Oh, the spin. Fighting through it, he's got space. And he will be taken down, but a big pickup there on what's going to be the final play of the third quarter. Back now in Foxborough. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the fourth quarter. A very one-sided affair. So the ball moves into Lion territory now. Here's 1st and 10, right at the 40. On the ground, this is Michelle. And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And all the way in. Touchdown, New England. Sony Michel standing alone with a new NFL record 32nd touchdown as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. So another score there, and often you talk about the 3 phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has. They've been pretty dominant throughout this game. And privately, the head coach will add a 4th phase. That's the coaching. And he'll tell the ownership that as he tries to negotiate a new contract off of this win.
They are looking strong here in the fourth quarter. So the Patriot offense stays out there, and they'll line up and go for 2.
This certainly feels like they were wanting to go for 2, but weren't really sure they should go for 2. Do we, don't we, do we, don't we? And guess what ends up happening?
5-yard penalty.
That's right. Now you probably line up and kick the extra point.
So the Patriot offense stays out there, and they'll line up and go for 2. They're going to try and run here. And this time he'll be stopped short of the goal line. He might have been out of gas after the long run. In any event, the try for 2 fails.
I know we could sit up here and dance around it a little bit, but going for 2 in this situation, somebody doesn't like someone else. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, what they couldn't see is you lean back in your chair and you went, I mean, yeah, that's not a good decision. They didn't get it, though.
Yeah, I don't think you can just say, well, my kicker's hurt in this spot. No, okay.
Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. Here's the Lion offense now as they get ready to take over. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the punter no longer exists for their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
Stafford and the Lions now have it 1st and 10 at their own 22. From the gun, Stafford. And the pressure gets to him and brings him down. Stafford is sacked.
That right now, that's a defeated team out there. I think you can see it totally in their body language.
Hands on hips, heads low. It's just been a struggle from the start.
Yeah, this team has been thoroughly beaten right from the word go.
Well, they're in some hot water now. After that sack, it's 2nd and 21. To throw is Stafford. Throwing the out route incomplete. That's Simmons.
That's it, baby. That's it. That's it.
And just a small glimpse there as to why they like this rookie so much.
And that's why they lit up a little bit in our meetings with the coaching staff, didn't they?
Yeah, when we talked about him, they did.
Yeah, you know, they like his work ethic. You know, this guy's running every route well in the route tree and getting better at it all the time, really honing his game. They expect a pretty good jump out of him as things continue to move on.
11 yards there and a Lion 1st down.
The goal for any offense versus a zone defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. On 1st and 10, Stafford. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's 2nd down. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
Back to the air. Stafford on 2nd down. That's to his running back, Kerryon Johnson. 11 yards there and a Lion 1st down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
Four yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. Throwing again is Stafford. Open man, he's got him, the tight end Hockenson. That throw good for only a couple. It brings up 3rd down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. You're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
First target, first catch, and a 1st down.
And Brandon, from our time in college football, where receivers weren't running the traditional NFL route tree, one thing they did learn, find open areas, find soft spots, and set up and catch the ball. And I think we just saw that there.
Yeah, we saw that indeed, picking up the 1st. Stafford going to come up 1st and 10, and he's 6 of 7 now on this drive. Stafford now to throw. Screenplay, Johnson. And this one's going to go the wrong way, losing yardage back at the 42.
You know the key to a good screen pass is, don't you?
Bet you're going to tell me, good blocking?
Well, good blocking eventually, but first is good acting. You want to let the defenders go past you, leak out to whichever side or even in the middle where you want to set up the screen, and then you do your blocking. How about the read, though, by the defensive guys? They weren't fooled at all and actually ran with the lineman to where the play was and smothered it for a loss of yardage.
So maybe just a momentary setback on what's been a great drive so far, but 2nd and 13 here. Back to throw, Stafford. He finds his man Johnson. And he'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. That good for 21 yards on the catch and run.
And this is why trying to cover the angle route is so difficult. Anyone playing the linebacker position, when they see a running back out of the backfield widen because he heads towards the flat first, oftentimes you widen too much and overcommit. He cuts up inside, and this is what we saw there. A nice pickup for a first down.
Ready, 180, zebra, target.
Now a first down throw. Stafford caught by Jones. And he takes it down to the 10-yard line. 11 more on that one and another first down.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
Stafford going to come up 1st and 10, and he's hit on his last 7 straight passes. Johnson running right. And a nice pick up there as he'll take it from the 10 down to the 5-yard line.
Well, it's been the air game that's taken them down on this drive before they finally turned around and handed it off on the last play.
And now they're looking for the big boys to get him in the end zone. Couldn't do it there.
It'll be interesting to see. Offensive lines had to pass block a lot on this drive. Will they be able to revert and fire out and create some space in the run game?
Tighten up. Let's go, D. Tighten up.
They stay on the ground. This time it's Johnson. And he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Ty Johnson, his first touchdown on the year. And it's for pride now, but the Lions do get a bit closer.
That's a whole lot of points still to be down. But congratulations, they're still fighting, and they scored another touchdown.
Like my old high school coach used to say, Charles, he said, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes you wish you never had showed up.
Could have saved the gas money, the hotel, what have you, huh?
Dustin Hopkins on now to add the extra point. And his kick is good, but flags come in. Looks like we're going to get a roughing call here on the follow-through. Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
After the roughing penalty on the PAT, they'll kick off from 15 yards further upfield. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Charles, you said earlier this defense is probably going to need to hold these guys right around 20 or under that if they were going to have a chance. It was evident pretty early on that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they left 20 behind a long time ago in this game, didn't they? It looks like they're headed towards a big, big number. But 20 was the threshold because that kept them in the ball game and kept the pressure off of their own offense.
They begin with Michel on the ground. He finds an opening past the 40. He's got a convoy, and he might be gone. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Patriot touchdown. Sony Michel with now 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns as his guys continue to pour it on. Not a whole lot to recap on that drive. Just one play, 75 yards to the house.
Yeah, it's a long way to go. And remember, Remember, rarely is it a straight line 75 yards, too. Got to have a little extra in there. So whatever the final number is, a well-deserved seat on the bench, a little oxygen if he wants it as well.
The extra point splits the uprights, and that will extend this big lead. One of the shortest drives you'll ever see. One play, 75 yards, 6 points. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. Fielded about a yard deep. And the decision to bring it out is going to cost him about 7 yards all told as he's taken down back shy of the 20. So out now come the Lions.
Last time they were out here, they had the benefit of good field position, led to a touchdown. This time, they're going to have to work for it.
They are, but with that last drive that culminated in a touchdown, I think they carry that confidence into this one. Doesn't matter where you start with the football now, they have to feel great about their opportunity.
Stafford and the Lions now have it 1st and 10 at their own 18. Out of the gun, Stafford. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Simmons. And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. First down Detroit, 16 yards on the pickup.
That crossing route is so effective when you hit it just right because you get a guy on the move, and then we see the end result there.
It's a nightmare for the defense. They got a guy with a full head of steam.
Not only does he catch it, but he picks up additional yardage after it.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. From the gun, here's Stafford. And the pressure gets to him and brings him down. Stafford is sacked.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
And they need to work to at least get some of this yardage back after the sack. 2nd and 19. Stafford. And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down.
Another incompletion. You know, it's a wonder he's still moving around back there the number of times he's been sacked.
Yeah, he's staying out there, isn't he? And you don't think about it much in a game like this, but he's showing incredible leadership. Still competing, still fighting, not taking himself out of a ball game that appears lost.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Open man is Galladay, complete. It'll be a gain of 8, but it'll also lead to a 4th down.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair.
So the Lions in possession of the football as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. And that will bounce out of bounds before they can get a return going.
Let's go.
Talk about angling that one perfectly, partner. We know the ball can bounce anywhere, especially how it's shaped. But that one, as if on cue, goes out of bounds perfectly.
Perfect indeed, right at the 1-yard line. Excellent coffin corner punt.
Out comes the New England offense to see what they can do this time.
And a few kneel downs should just about do it. Now, defensively, they do have all 3 timeouts, but very little reason to use them at this point.
Now a 1st down carry. It's Michel. It's a foot race. He's at the 50, the 30, the 20, 10. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
And for them, this train, it just keeps rolling, doesn't it? Well on their way to yet another victory.
Yeah, it's almost a runaway, isn't it? And you just wonder how anyone could stop this. They got full momentum going, full confidence going. But it's not just their own confidence that is leading them. It's the lack of confidence against their opponents now because they see them coming and think, we've got no shot to beat this team.
Still an important piece of business to take care of, the extra point. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. Those are the ones the offensive coordinators dream about. One-play drives from that distance. What an effort. It results in the touchdown. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. This is fielded at the goal line. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line.
Come on, fellas.
The Lions offense, they get ready to head back onto the field. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest.
Don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Yeah, use that as ammo going forward.
Exactly. Take a great look at that scoreboard. Realize how poorly everything went for us today. Coaching, playing, the whole deal. And never forget it because
you're not going to want that feeling.
No, you don't want that feeling again. And who knows? You may meet up with this team again.
They hold him to only 2 there on the screen. It's second down.
The screen was executed and completed, but where's the worry on the play? How many times is a quarterback going to get hit? Because offensive linemen have to do an acting job of making sure it looks like they're whiffing on blocks. But you got to slow them down a little bit because if you don't, that's a lot of big guys coming at your quarterback in a big, fast way. And boy, he can get hurt.
The throw over the middle taken in. And he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. 15 yards for the Lions there on a first down. And with that last play, he's now up over that 300-yard mark.
And in today's NFL, it almost feels routine. And I hate that when you talk about a 300-yard passing game. To me, 300 yards still signifies excellence, and he's achieved that in this performance.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Operating from the gun, Stafford. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up second down. At this point, down big, you'd have to imagine this defense, they're just going to sit back, blanket the field as best they can.
Yeah, this is actually the easy part of the game for them because, just as you noted, they can sit back, keep everything in front of them. But they blanketed the field the entire game using a variety of coverages.
So line of scrimmage still the 39 on 2nd and 10. Throwing again, Stafford. And he'll complete this one to Fulgham. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. But slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
Now they'll try to convert on 3rd and 6 after the 4-yard completion. Stafford. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked up by J.C. Jackson. There he goes left side. And he will score. Touchdown, Patriots.
Give me the ball every time, fella. I'm going to score.
Defensively, they've had their way in this one. That pick six makes that scoreboard even more lopsided.
I remember talking with a guy in the league, and I said, what do you do when the game's like this? You know, it's pretty much over. You ready to go to the bench and hang out? He said, oh, heck no. I want to stay on the field. I might get some stats. I might get a pick or two.
You like being out there at the end of these wide margins.
When they have to throw it, that gives you more opportunities to go get it.
Now for the point after. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick six. So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. Fielded about a yard deep. And he's able to get it across the 20, but not by much as he's marked down at the 21-yard line. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. This is just an exercise in futility. Do you even bother running a play here offensively?
I wouldn't, because now is not going to erase what's happened during the game. So after it's over, you're going to go to the film, find out where the game was really lost. But this is not a situation now where you're going to make up for anything.
We'll see what they do here. A big offensive explosion helped leading them to victory. And the defensive guys, they're just saying, hey, put those points up every week. We'll just keep winning.
They will gratefully accept them, won't they? It makes their job that much easier when they're scoring that many points. Allows them to play with a totally different style and a different flow.
So for New England, they continue to cruise through this first half of the schedule as they move to 8-0 now on the campaign. And they will hit the road next week for a date with the Green Bay Packers. Meanwhile, for the Lions, they fall 2 games under 500 now at 3-5. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. So for our entire crew, alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.